An interesting little fun fact about me is that I have either cracked or completely broken the same tooth a total of 4 times. I was always insecure about the way my front teeth looked as a kid. They were big and uneven, and the left one in particular fanned out, which left me with a pair of crooked buck teeth. Instead of seeking orthodontics like a normal boy, in school I would set my front left tooth on the desk and just go limp, placing the entire weight of my head and shoulders on this one tooth in an attempt to push it back to a more satisfactory position. My guess is that this weakened the integrity of the tooth, as the very same year I began this ritual, it broke clean in half. This came about when I was on the playground frolicking on one of those bouncy bridges. It was wintertime and the bridge was newly dusted with powdery snow. Like the foolish 4th grader I was, I went buck wild with the tomfoolery, despite the fact that the bridge was indeed quite slippery. My feet came right out from under me as I face-planted directly onto that troublesome front tooth, no semblance of a survival instinct prompting me to break the fall. I was horrified. I wailed. I held the broken piece of tooth in my hand as if it was my baby. But it was perfectly fine. I went to my dentist, Dr. Wagner, and he sealed the piece back on as if nothing had happened. "Be careful out there, kiddo," he said in his voice that was slightly reminiscent of Kermit the Frog. But I, in fact, did not heed his advice. Precisely 1 week later, to the very day, I was hopping and skipping on some rocks in a different area of the playground, having become quite cross with the jungle gym. It was a bit sunnier that day, so the ice and snow had dissipated. I had complete trust in my athletic abilities as I jumped the 3-foot gap from boulder to boulder. Like clockwork, though, I slipped on the edge of one of the rocks, and, as if my tooth had a magnet in it, it made an intimate re-encounter with the nearest hard object, in this case a jagged rock. This time it wasn't a clean break. It was chipped into pieces. I was gushing blood. Pain. I spit my bloody tooth chips into a little cup which I brought shamefully back to Dr. Wagner. This time when he repaired it, he had to cobble all the pieces back together in a Frankenstein's monster fashion, leaving the back of my tooth feeling jagged and rough like a rocky precipice. "Be careful out there, kiddo," he said again. "You butthead," I thought. "You said that last time and look where that got me." The following years were without major incident, but I did chip my tooth, albeit in a less gruesome manner. I was trotting down the path of what else but the playground with my buddies Henry and Sam. Suddenly I heard a squawk from another buddy, Matthew, who was playing frisbee over on the wood chips. "Heads up!" he cried, mere milliseconds before a frisbee met its comeuppance with my pie hole. This time I did not weep. I just pathetically tumbled to the ground like a Grand Theft Auto NPC, a look of pure disappointment on my face. Henry and Sam helped me up, but the disappointment remained. My tooth was chipped yet again. It was a much smaller piece, though. It was so insignificant, in fact, that I don't remember much about the repairment process, nor Dr. Wagner's shenanigans. In the 10 years that followed, I attended 3 different schools, received braces, and went through puberty. Innumerable changes, and my tooth held strong all the while. But I went on a camping trip. Despite the fact that it was cold, wet, and the middle of November, there was a burn ban, meaning we couldn't cook wieners or s'mores. Rather pathetically, my girlfriend and I decided to eat s'mores raw as an alternative. I took one bite of that chocolate which had been marinating in the frozen November air for 2 days, and pop! Another clean break, just like the one from all those years ago. Now, that could have just been a cover story, and it was really a result of a clumsy kiss gone wrong, but I digress. I was able to get an appointment to fix it in just 3 days. Embarrassingly, I don't recall the doctor's name, so I'll just call him Dr. Adidas in honor of the sweatshirt he wore in lieu of traditional doctor's attire. I presented him the piece of tooth in a little baggie, hoping he could reattach it like they did in years of old. But he took one look inside my mouth and said, "Nope, you need a crown." I was flabbergasted. Do you want to keep this?" he asked, to which I sheepishly replied, "No, I guess." He responded to this by tossing it in the closest trash can. In the operating chair, he injected my face with 3 doses of Novocaine. He tried asking me where I went to school. "Wake?" I muttered, unable to speak as his fingers were in my mouth. "High Point?" "UNCG?" When he finally finished up and pulled his fingers out of my mouth, I said, No, I go to UNCSA, the School of the Arts." "Oh," he exclaimed. "Your school kinda has the city on its back, man. I love all the art stuff they do downtown." I couldn't say much, as he had just pumped my face with so much Novocaine I could no longer feel my eyes, which I didn't even know was possible. Regardless, he proceeded to shave down my disfigured tooth to a point and slap on a glob of plastic which would serve as my temporary crown. On the drive home, I caught a glimpse of a neon sign offering cash loans, which I thought I'd probably need after investing in this crown on top of paying for tuition, room, and board at a film school. Either way, I came back 2 weeks later and Dr. Adidas installed a genuine, shiny porcelain crown, the real McCoy. As he walked away, I heard him mutter, "I knew that one would turn out a little weird," which was rather disconcerting, but fortunately I still have no idea what he was talking about. I drove back home and saw the sign for cash loans once again, but this time I thought about how much cash money I was going to earn with my new and improved set of pearly whites. And as of the making of this film, we've had no new occurrences of enamel carnage. I'm just ever so slightly wary of bouncy bridges, jagged rocks, rogue frisbees, frozen chocolate, and violent smooches. Thank you for tuning in, and take care of your precious chompy wompies.